Finally, tactic 7 is switching to third-party support. I think it makes the most sense for Mark S to lead this one.
Thanks, Dan. Third-party support. Well, you know, the background to our organisation, we were an Oracle partner for about 20 years, and what we saw through the last financial crisis in, you know, around 2008, 2009, was that, you know, customers were being forced into upgrades that they didn't want to do. There were de-support dates. The new versions of software were coming out that they weren't really getting any major new changes in. You know, a lot of the software is 30 years old, and so the innovation phase has been and gone. And, you know, there are some keeping the lights on, a few little tweaks here and there, but, you know, way back then, what we started to see was customers in the marketplace thinking, well, you know, what am I getting for my money? And people were asked to do business cases for upgrades and things like that, and they could never come back with one. You know, and we were asked to help in a number of cases, and we'd say, well, there is no business case. The only business case is you're going to stay supported by Oracle. So way back when, you know, we saw that and we thought, well, you know, this market is kind of on the wane, really, and unless Oracle does something drastic, like brings out a whole new set of products and new versions that just blow us away, then this market is under threat because customers don't want to do upgrades, and they're spending lots on support. So, you know, I think 2012 we founded the support revolution, but the whole point of it was we saw what was coming. We saw that people were paying far too much money for far too little return, and that was never going to, you know, end well for Oracle. It's it's the customer that votes for whatever product we end up putting out there. If the customer sees, well, you know, I agree with you, and I'm not getting the innovation, then they do start to look around. So switching to third-party support to a vendor like ourselves, well, what it does, it kind of, not only does it make massive savings for you, so every customer saves a minimum of 50% on what they currently pay to Oracle. We guarantee that. What they also get, though, is they get so much more flexibility. So we're a partner that works with them. We work kind of in conjunction with them. We hear all the time that we're a partner, and we're all working towards the same goal. And so, you know, we want to help customers with Oracle estates. We understand that, you know, you've got some old systems over here. You might want to keep there for a while. You can never upgrade it. You know, you've got some new systems that you want to keep maybe with Oracle or move to another vendor. So we help you to do all that. We help you to unpick your estate, and you might want to give some software to us to help support, to provide support and maintenance on, and you might want to keep others with Oracle, and you can do that provided you've licensed separately, as we talked about earlier. But all of that helps you to start regain control of your estate. So no longer is Oracle kind of bullying you and knocking on the door saying you have to do this or else I'm not going to do that. What you start to do is start to get control again. So you start to save money. You start to say, well, actually, I've safeguarded that old system over there that we've used for 20 years. We're not going to use it. We're not going to upgrade it for another 5 or 10 years. And now I've got a partner that I know will support that. And, you know, our ERP system over there, we used to upgrade that all the time, but yeah, there's not really any changes there anymore. So why don't we give that to Support Revolution, and maybe the one or two of those leading edge systems over there we'll keep with Oracle. So all that flexibility and being in control of your estate is a much better position to be in than to be under the cosh, to be, you know, Oracle knocking on the door saying you've got to do this, you've got to move to iCloud. If you don't do this, I'm going to audit you. But interestingly, the other thing that it allows you to do is you start to get off of Oracle's radar. So before moving to somebody like ourselves, you had a massive estate. Oracle was spending all their time getting you to renew that and extend that, and maybe you had a dedicated Oracle rep that all their job was to do that. Well, when you've reduced that estate by, let's say you reduced it by 90% and you kept 10% with Oracle, then that sales rep now, it gets a much lower income, and Oracle gets a much lower income from you, and so they're nowhere near as interested in you. So maybe if you move away initially, they might say, well, I'm going to send the audit team in, and, you know, they send the audit team in whether you're moving away to third-party support or not. This is the new norm, with nobody buying software these days because of the current climate. What Oracle are going to do is you can expect them to increase audits on absolutely everybody because they need to find more money. But by moving away or starting to move away your estate, you're becoming a smaller customer to Oracle, and you're not as interested. You know, next year that rep's got a territory. He looks at your account and he says, well, you know, they're quite small, so I'm not going to work with them this year. So you're starting to get in control. You're starting to move away. You're starting to move to your own the beat of your own drum, if you like. So, it's about getting that control again. And, and I'm not saying that all Oracle software is bad. Some of it, you might want to keep with them, like I said. But if you're in control of your estate, you understand it, you've got your licenses, you understand the position, you understand your roadmap, you're in a great position to then say, well, actually, that gives me the knowledge to say, right, Oracle, you're looking after those two front end systems because I actually value you for those. But Support Revolution, you take these 90% of the systems because they're all stable. I'll replace them at some point. I might move them to the cloud. But then you've got that flexibility. You've started to regain control. You're not getting all these audits and threats, and you're not having to deal with Oracle all the time. Spend all your time speaking to a vendor that really is just trying to get money out of you. They're not somebody that is helping you in this. They're somebody that wants to. They've got their own agenda. Obviously, they need to increase the share price, and you need to get in control of your own fortunes. So, looking at that, taking advantage of third-party support where it's appropriate is going to help you. And we've got some great customers that are really making fantastic savings on this, and some huge names. And with the current climate, I can see there's a lot of people going to take advantage of this sort of offering. And Mark, what are you seeing in the market?
Well, here's the interesting thing, Mark. I mean, you make some great points there, and we talked at the beginning of this webinar about the time we're living in and trying to find cost savings, and what a perfect way to do it with third-party support. It's slashing your software maintenance costs by 50% or more. It doesn't get better than that right off the bat. And then, of course, there's all the other good things that go along with it, quality of support and everything else, and tickets quickly rather than disappearing into the ether as some seem to do. But here's the thing. I've been monitoring the third-party support market. Well, I think I was writing about it. I wrote research for Forrester and other bits and pieces in 2011, 2012, and I've followed it ever since. And it's one of the really good disruptors to the industry that's come along in the last few years. Disruptors in the sense that now you have a choice. If you're an Oracle customer, before third-party support, you could only get support from one place, and there's pretty much no way you're going to run without support. It's like an insurance policy as much as anything else to keep you alive. So before third-party support, you had one place to go, and guess what? They could charge you what they liked. And typically, if you look at the financial numbers of Oracle, and I know they've rehashed how they present their numbers now, but in the old days, you could look at it, and you could clearly see that support for them gave them about a 90 or 92% profit margin. So they only actually spent about 8% of the money you pay for support to give you support, or to provide some R&D on the products. But a lot of the products on premise, at least today, there's no R&D really going into them. There is no next release coming. You're paying for a product that is at end of life if they haven't already announced it, because all their money is going into cloud. So for many, many years, they made a vast amount of profit out of it. For many, many years, it's been the cash cow of their businesses. It's just a profit engine that just keeps giving. So that's why they're happy to discount new license sales massively in terms of discount, because they want to get the support stream running, because it runs and it runs and it runs, and it's 90+% margin, and what's not to like? And that's how it got so big and so rich. But here's the thing. Are you happy paying, somebody that much profit for a service that might not be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and maybe not putting a lot of money into R&D for the next release that maybe never is coming? All these are big questions you need to ask yourself when you consider, should you stick with Oracle and stay with Oracle? Because there are genuine alternatives like Support Revolution in the marketplace. And of course, if you want to save money, like when I started talking here, if you want to save money, what a perfect thing to look at for a very quick win based on the cycles, obviously, of your renewals with Oracle support. But what a great way to slash a cost by 50%. There's not many vendors you could go to today in any shape or form and say, look, can you reduce your cost by 50%, please? And they go, oh, okay. They're not going to do it because it's their revenue stream. But here's a genuine way of actually saving money. And the final point I'd say on this is, and I see a lot of this, where clients have moved to third-party support and loving the quality of support, loving the savings. Of course they are. But the financial element of that is important, because yes, it's a cost saving. And maybe today in the pandemic world, you want to keep that cash in-house. But in the business as usual world, if you can make a chunky saving on support costs for some oldest technology that's running around, like Oracle on-premise stuff, for example, you can take that money you've saved and fund some new stuff, fund some new projects, fund some things your business needs to do in whether it's, you know, connecting better with your customers, connecting better with your suppliers, whatever it may be. There's a whole bunch of projects a CIO would be looking at, some of which are funded and some of which are not. What a great way to suddenly free up what he thought was tied down money, you know, gone money, which is already, you know, costed, it's paying support every year with Oracle, just pay it. If suddenly you could say, hey, we could take half of that and you free up that capital and spend it on something you really do need as a business. So some of those projects that are unfunded today, you can unlock and go and do some real benefit to your business, deliver real value. So from that perspective alone, it's definitely worth taking a look at if you've not looked at it before. But if nothing else, with this year, this time, this pandemic, you've got to save money. This is a go-to place. This is the top 3 of things I'd be suggesting you look at if you're talking to me about how can I save money today.